Hello everybody in the chess world. Today we're going to see something pretty special. We're going to see like the only time in the history of chess where one of the sides had absolutely all 8 pawns on the 4th rank. So this was Boris Alterman, this is a renowned GM, and he was playing a computer. So the computer was some deep fritz. It's funny that this happened on the year 2000. So basically to resume the history of computers, playing chess against humans, well, during the end of the 70s and the whole 80s, well, any GM was destroying like any computer, even the best. During the 90s, well, Kasparov beat the computers, but it wasn't so easy until I think it was in 97 where he lost. And everyone considered that like the pivotal moment where computers were starting to show that they were better than humans. I think that later on when, Kramnik took on a computer, and actually Kramnik was this close to draw every game, but he lost this penultimate really famous game, receiving mate in 1, just a weird mate, unexpected. And well, the last game he had to play the Sicilian with black, tried to come back in the match, so he lost that as well. So he lost by 2 points, but he was really close to actually get a draw in that match. Later on, I think maybe 1-2 years after, I saw Mickey Adams losing 5.5 to half in a 6-game match against, I don't remember which program, but to me, that was the moment where it was like, okay, there's no more chance for humanity and stuff like that. But okay, this was the year 2000, so Kasparov had already lost that. I have the information here. It's, November 15, and it was the Kasparov Chess Human Machine Challenge. That's the name of the event. So I'll show you the game. It's a pretty long game, so I won't show you a lot of analysis. Of course, as always, I leave markers all the time so you can go straight to the specific position. But there'll be some interesting moments. So initially, F4 by Boris Alterman. We'll see that he will take this normal strategy to against computers to play a close position, right? Because computers can calculate millions of moves in seconds. We humans can't. So after d5, knight f3, knight f6, e3, g6, bishop d2. By the way, I like this. I play this with white a lot. Sometimes, it's normal to play like this and then to play with knight c3 even, or knight bd2. But we'll see that Boris had a different idea, because in here, he already closed it up with f4, so this is like a stonewall, if you will, a stonewall attack, because it's played by white. And after castle c3, as solid as possible. And recommended strategy against computer in those days, maybe nowadays as well. Kasparov was probably the one recommending that. And bishop f5, again, typical from computers those days. If they see some possible activity, they grab it. Not fearing too much, like maybe the backlash or anything that could happen against that. In fact, that bishop on f5 will be a target quite soon. I mean, not that it is a bad move, but after knight bd2, again, the most solid possible move. And d6, well, we can already see that this bishop has no retreat. So Boris just went h3, like saying, okay, if you allow me, I'll play g4. So knight on e4, this is quite logical, and the knight is aiming for this g3 square or exchanges. Boris went g5 anyway, and after knight on g3, rook g1. So since he's hitting both pieces, of course, first knight takes knight. Well, taking the bishop, I guess, will result in not like this. In knight takes, right? That's not possible. So, but king takes is still interesting, because I think it would have been much more natural to expect queen takes e2. So a bishop on e4 and knight on g5. And well, unless the computer wants to play f5, or f5 it's not possible because of knight takes e6. So, they are kind of losing up on. Computer went knight on h6, and understandably, Boris did not take the bishop. Not right away. I guess he wanted to do it in better conditions. And what we probably thought that knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes could have some counterplay with c5, mostly considering this king right here. Or let us say first queen d5, and after queen d3, c5. Objectively, probably this is still better for white, but that's a little complicated, not the kind of position that we will want against a computer. So, understandably, going back, not only he did not take on e4, he just played b4 against, he wants to like limit any possible activity for black. So he's just stopping this possible c5, and of course he might aim to play b5 now or someday. So c6 by the computer. Bishop b2, always solid, always, you know, well, queen on e7 was the move by the computer. You'll see how this computer played, you know, really weak moves comparing to what any engine would analyze nowadays. Even knight c7 I think was better here, but okay, still the right strategy to play against the computer. And now it was the moment where Boris said, okay, now I can take the extra pawn. Knight takes pawn, rook 88, queen b3, getting away from that file and activating the queen. Queen h4, typical computer move, not too human, right? Like making a almost Dantesque, you know, move with the queen. But they are threatening the h-pawn, so Boris just went rook in h1. Okay, at least, you know, the rook was more active on the g file. Now, computer got something out of there. Rook f8, and now rook ag1. I like the Boris style. Like, okay, if you want to leave my h1 rook kind of a slave of protecting the h3 pawn, well, I can just make them work together. And f6, this looks quite dubious, right? Weakening forever this e6 pawn. But I guess the computer is running out of ideas. I guess even knight c7 will be a natural, more normal move. But, you know, computer always analyzes a lot of concrete lines, so maybe they saw something against that. f6, knight d2, maybe f5 was an idea for black, so Boris is like, okay, but if you play that, you won't be attacking my knight. Knight c7, computer obviously running out of ideas. Knight f3, you know, the forcing the queen to her only available square, which is h6. h4, you see where we're going now. Now we're only like a few moves away from getting our, yeah, Guinness record position. And in fact, this will happen quite soon. I think rook f8 was the move by the computer. Again, clearly really confused engine. You know, the engines from the current engines now will tell you that this is like a decisive mistake. And after bishop c1, very precise move by Boris, this is already winning for white. I think computers now are recommending a6, still with basically almost a winning position for white. They have a pawn up for nothing and all the positional trumps. But okay, after rook on f8, question mark, bishop c1 winning. Rook d8, you will see computer shuffling a lot. And well, this is a funny moment, because in here, by far, the best move was e4. This is like, I think, +3 for current engines. I'm pretty sure, I mean, what can I say? Maybe there are interviews after the game. I didn't find any, this is an old game, but I'm pretty sure Boris thought, well, if I play e4 now, maybe computer will play f5 or something to disrupt the harmony of the fourth line. I'm sure that's why he actually played a4. He was really intending to be the first one in the history to put all the pawns on the fourth rank, and he did. So, and well, maintaining a winning position, maybe not as winning as the move e4, as, well, when he played a4, computer, you know, took the opportunity to place the knight on d5, but Boris thought, well, but I kick him out with c4. Now it was better to go back to c7, and after knight b6, finally e4, and yes, you know, the music sounds, and for the first time in the history of chess, all the pawns on the fourth rank. And you will see how, I think Boris, since Boris knew that he was winning, and he was confident in not, you know, screwing things up even against a computer, so you'll see how he will toy a little bit with the computer. He will kind of almost troll, because, okay, I'll pass moves more or less quickly. f5. Now Boris made a bad move, which is g5. I mean, both a5 and h5 were better moves, but g5, queen h5 is still basically winning, and e5, of course, closing it up. Again, we'll see the computer shuffling. The computer doesn't know what to do. Bishop on e3, rook d7, king f2, really calm. You know, Boris doesn't have to do anything special. Rook d1. Knight on a8, well, b5 finally using. I mean, look at this queen on h5. It's quite ridiculous, right? I mean, bishop on f8, okay, that's something, but a5, bishop on e7, Boris went, okay, I'll just go b6. I had enough. I'll try to win this quickly. King g7, again, computer shuffling. c5 even, why not? I mean, d4 is as solid as a rock, so why not? Then using just the a file, king f7, rook a1, rook b8, I guess anticipating some rook on a7, I don't know. I mean, ridiculous, you know, gameplay by the computer. Boris always quite a calm, you know, bishop on d8, knight d2, and now, well, I guess, well, computer had enough and sacrificed a piece for the 2 pawns. And now, of course, I mean, Boris is like, well, now we're just going to go to the ending, a piece for 2 pawns. This will be easy, even against a computer. No alternative. Computer had to exchange. Again, shuffling, but h5. Knight d5 comes, but rook on a7. So to pin the b pawn. Unpin the b pawn by the computer, but knight b3, looking at all the main squares. So after b6, well, the computer just wants to prevent knight c5. Well, and also, well, threatening to take here. Instead of going like for the natural rook fa1, Boris first took on h6. kind of like a boss move, right? Because now if rook takes a7, well, rook takes h7 check, king takes, and he would have recovered the rook there. So again, like a little bit of funny joke. Of course, computer just recapture on the h file, and now he double rook. So nothing to do. I'll pass the moves kind of quickly. I mean, Boris is having fun. Okay, this is the only moment where, well, maybe Boris made a tactical mistake, but it actually doesn't even change the evaluation, so we cannot call this a mistake. I mean, of course, rook takes d7 check, king takes, and let us say bishop d2 was easily winning. Boris went rook a1 and knight takes f4 check. Well, maybe exclaimed by the computer, but again, if this doesn't change the evaluation, and it certainly doesn't, so, well, it's just like a little bit of a showdown of a tactical thing, but nothing too serious. Boris even played king f3, which is interesting move. Bishop takes f4 was actually totally winning as well, because after rook takes, well, he can just take the pawn, and after rook takes, rook a7 check. There's not even that much counterplay for the computer, and well, now they'll be out of a king as well, so we can go and either everything. But understandable, Boris probably thought, why would I even, you know, put myself in a position where I have to calculate? Just king f3, okay, I gave up a pawn, but now bishop c1, there's nothing to do. So, well, again, I'll try to go quickly into the moves. Well, computer wants to exchange rooks. Boris says no. Computer insists. Boris says, okay, so if we're going to exchange it, let us do it on d8. So the king is on d8 instead of on d7. And bishop b2, everything's solid. Now Boris is going to, trap that g-pawn. After the check and king and knight, Boris thinks, well, I'll even prevent the check on f4 by the knight, since that g-pawn is lost. So now he takes it. He goes back. Computer doesn't want to exchange the last piece, but after this, the knight is basically trapped. So computer is okay, let us exchange. And for the last part, let us see, because Boris, again, kind of trolling the computer. He just showed really nice technique. Nothing too hard to see, but you'll see how he'll do everything in a really calm way, right? I mean, b5, bishop b4, you know, everything like Zug's on. So the computer is like, all right, at least I can exchange my f-pawn for the g-pawn, which was the pass pawn. And Boris is like, yeah, but you're going to have to give me more space with your king, because if you're holding it, I go back, and now, oh, here. So the computer's like, I hold it up, you know, just preventing king g5. So he has to go back. So now he wins, shoulders the king. The king again tries to hold at least that rank, but check. He goes back again. He has to relinquish the space. So kind of like a funny sequence how, you know, in almost in every turn, Boris is winning one more line to. So again, you know, like winning the opposition. King h now is obviously over. He was in this position, actually, that the computer resigned. Of course, he was totally lost before. But okay, going back, I mean, like, I don't know, what a postcard that is, right? Like I mean, here, I mean, I'm pretty sure this never happened again in any real game, tournament games, or stuff like that. So I guess Boris should have the Guinness record for being the only human being in actually achieving that. And by the way, a pretty cool victory, pretty instructive victory on how to play against computers, maybe from those days. Now, like the cheapest cell phone with the weakest, you know, chess program will beat Magnus. So I mean, what can we do? It was all days, not anymore. But okay, I'll leave Citronet as usual to ask you to like, comment, share, and subscribe in case you like the video. And thanks a lot for watching. I will see you next time.